Spotify Rap sucks. Yeah, it's a neat idea. My top 100 most listened to songs from the last year, all in one playlist. It's nice and fun to see, but that's about it. It's fun to see, but I don't ever play it. I doubt most people even save the playlist to listen to it. It's just there to look back on if you ever do. But why would I ever listen to this at all? There are days where I'm feeling kind of nostalgic and I want to relive memories and feelings from a specific year. You know where I'm not going to go to do that? My Spotify Wrapped playlist. It doesn't really capture that year, just what I listen to the most. While I've only had Spotify for 3 years, I can already tell there will come a year where my most listened to songs aren't going to be something I found that year or that were released that year. Rather, they'll be something I've always listened to. You can already see that happening if you look at the mid to bottom of any of these playlists. Those aren't songs I associate with this year. I connect those songs to other memories and feelings from other points in my life. What I want is to relive the feelings of a specific year, like I'm rewatching a TV show. But that TV show is my boring life. Spotify Wrapped isn't going to do that for me, but I do have a way I have achieved that. During Christmas of 2015, I wasn't using Spotify, but Google Play Music. At the time, I was actually buying the music I was listening to. So despite new things releasing at the time, the only songs I was able to listen to on repeat were those that I bought and downloaded specifically. I was adding my favorite songs to playlists I simply labeled favorites. Now I didn't have to do that. I actually only made things harder for myself listening to music like that. On the days I didn't feel like listening to anything, it made finding music to listen to much harder. Shuffling all the music I had wasn't helpful because I had a lot of instrumental tracks or music I just simply never wanted to listen to. Finally though, I compiled all my favorite music I had listened to in 2015 into one playlist, ordering them alphabetically. A lot of the songs I added I had already owned or listened to prior to 2015, but this was the first playlist I made. I really just wanted to capture this feeling at this time in my life. I still go back and listen to this playlist often, especially around Christmas time. It's only 48 tracks, 3 hours and 6 minutes long, but it definitely holds a place in my heart now. And I decided to make it a tradition. But I don't remember all I was thinking during making it, but I do remember a few rules I still try to follow. Rule number 1, don't put 2 songs by the same artist next to each other. This was especially important for my 2015 playlist because they were ordered alphabetically, which the alphabetical order I've dropped since. But if I stuck to it, most of my playlists would just be filled with Linkin Park tracks. I do fail at times, but often 2 songs from the same artist fit together better than if I try to separate them by another artist. Which goes along with rule number 2, the songs must flow into each other. This can be kind of difficult because a lot of songs don't flow into each other at all. What I mean is if a song fades a certain way, the next song has to fade in from where that one faded out. So if it was fading out with the piano, then the next one must start with the piano. Isn't always how it's gonna work. Sometimes you just have to think, do the themes or subject matter match? Is this a slow breakup song? Will a heavy breakup song go well next to it? I definitely don't follow this one too closely, but I try to. Whenever I add a song and I look for its place in the playlist, I try to listen to the beginning and end to know if it flows well with the songs next to it. Doing this would just make sure that the story that I'm creating with the playlist will flow smoothly with every song. Both of these rules have allowed me to look back at the whole year with the memories and feelings I know I'm nostalgic for, and not what some algorithm thinks I am. It's truly personalized to me. I love the feeling of listening to these playlists while I'm sitting around with my family around Christmas and New Year's, popping fireworks or opening presents. It truly feels like a proper send-off to the year. Now those are just the first 2 rules I started with. After 2015, I wanted to continue making these playlists, so in 2016, I started making one, and it didn't work. For 2016, I just took my 2015 playlist, and I just started adding music that I had from 2016, or sometimes before, and it didn't work. The playlist just became bloated, watered down. I didn't associate any of it with 2016. It was a mess. I immediately felt no connection to the playlist. Ironically, it was a decent representation of how I feel about the year, but it wasn't a good playlist. So when I came back to making a playlist in 2017, to avoid that from happening, I decided to only add music I bought or listened to that year. And with that new rule, I was so proud of how 2017 came out. So after that, I gave 2016 another shot. I went back and looked at what I had bought and listened to in 2016, and I made a playlist that truly represented how I felt that year. And now I'm nostalgic for that new 2016 playlist, and I come back and listen to it every so often. So rule number 3 is only adding songs I discovered from that year. So only new releases, covers, artists new to me, or songs I never listened to but had an impact on me that year. So if there is a song from 1999 or something, but I haven't ever listened to it before, I can add it to the playlist. That's the final rule I have for creating the playlist, but I have a few rules for once it's finally made. So rule 4 would be don't add or remove from the playlist. This keeps the playlist a reminder of that year. I do have a few songs and artists I don't listen to anymore in my older playlist, but I would never destroy the nostalgia from that year by removing a song because I've changed. It was who I was then. I want to feel like I was during that time when the playlist is on. That also goes into my next rule. Listen to the playlist from the start to the end. No skipping, no shuffling. Even if I added a crap song I no longer like, I have to listen to it. This keeps each playlist like an event. And these playlists can be long. My shortest playlist is 2 hours and 30 minutes long with 48 songs. Right after that, it's 3 hours and 4 minutes long with 46 songs. My longest playlist is 4 hours and 39 minutes long with 72 songs. So if I'm gonna play one, I'll pick when I know I'm doing something to be set back during that year. Like I'll play a video game I played that year or work on a drawing or painting. And what do you think of that? I've done this myself for years, but I'm curious whether anyone else does something similar. If you haven't before, will you next year? Or this year? This year isn't over and it's possible to just piece a playlist together, especially if you use your Spotify Wrapped to grab your songs. The way I keep track of my songs as I go through the year is with another playlist with every album and song I've listened to, and sort through the ones I like and narrow them down into the final playlist. If you'd like to listen to what I have, my playlists are public on my Spotify profile. However, because I didn't start these playlists using Spotify, my 2017 to 2019 playlists are missing or using replacement songs. For 2018, I had to replace a few tracks because I used instrumentals of some songs that aren't on Spotify. 2019 is missing one song that isn't available. And 2017 is the most incomplete because I used a lot of demos and EPs and mixtapes that aren't available on Spotify. Just keep that in mind to back up or write down these playlists, as nothing is permanent on streaming platforms. Songs are removed by artists. Platforms will close. I've been fortunate enough so far, but one day, like the memories I'm trying to capture, the playlist will vanish too.